By the end of the day, the Persian invasion of Greece was finished, not delayed, not weakened, ended. An empire that ruled from the Indus Valley to the Mediterranean would never again send an army into mainland Greece. And it didn't happen at sea. It didn't happen behind city walls. It happened here, on a wide, dusty plain near a small town called Plataea. The question isn't how the Greeks won this battle. The question is why the Persian Empire lost everything in a single day. This is how it happened. 1 year earlier, Greece had already survived what should have destroyed it. At Thermopylae, a small force had delayed the Persian advance. At Salamis, a desperate naval gamble had shattered the Persian fleet. But the war was not over. Persia still possessed its greatest strength, the largest land army the ancient world had ever seen. And it was still on Greek soil. King Xerxes had returned east, confident Greece would eventually collapse on its own. But he left behind one of his most trusted commanders to finish the job. His name was Mardonius, and Mardonius believed the war could still be won, not through brute force, but by letting Greek unity tear itself apart. Everything that follows makes Plataea inevitable. The Persian army that marched into central Greece was immense, disciplined, experienced, but more importantly, it was unified. Orders flowed from the top down. Decisions were made quickly. Obedience was expected. The Greek army was something very different. It wasn't a nation. It was a coalition, Spartans, Athenians, Corinthians. Smaller city-states with different fears and different goals. Sparta favoured caution and discipline. Athens burned for revenge after their city was destroyed. Others were simply trying to survive. They marched together, but they did not always think together. When the two armies faced each other near Plataea, neither attacked. The Persians held the plains, perfect for cavalry. The Greeks took higher ground, defensible but difficult to supply, and so began the waiting. Days passed, then weeks. This wasn't hesitation. It was pressure. While the armies stared at each other, the real fighting happened elsewhere. Persian cavalry harassed Greek supply lines. Scouts disrupted communication. Water sources became contested. Food grew scarce. Morale frayed. Arguments erupted among Greek commanders. Hold position? Fall back? Force a battle? Mardonius watched patiently. He believed the Greeks would eventually crack, not because they were weak, but because they were divided. And every day the stalemate continued. Conditions worsened for the Greeks. Time, he believed, was on his side. The breaking point came at night. Under growing pressure, Greek commanders agreed on a dangerous plan. They would withdraw under cover of darkness, not to flee, but to reposition closer to reliable water and supply routes. On paper, it was a rational decision. In practice, it was chaos. Orders were misunderstood. Units moved at different times. Darkness erased coordination. By dawn, the Greek army was no longer a single line. It was scattered across the plain. From the Persian camp, the scene looked unmistakable. Retreat, disintegration, fear. Mardonius believed the moment had come. He had waited patiently. Now he believed Greek unity had finally collapsed, and that belief triggered the decision that would end the invasion. Without waiting to confirm his assumptions, Mardonius ordered an immediate advance. Persian infantry surged forward. Cavalry followed. Momentum mattered more than caution. But the Greeks were not running. Spartan and Tegean forces formed up first. Heavy armour, long spears, disciplined ranks. When the Persian line collided with the Greek phalanx, the imbalance was immediate. Persian soldiers fought bravely, but they were lightly armoured, short weapons, minimal protection. Against locked shields and extended spears, courage wasn't enough. Then Mardonius was killed, struck down in the chaos of close combat, and with him fell the spine of Persian command. Orders stopped flowing. Units hesitated. Discipline collapsed. What had begun as an attack turned into confusion, then panic, then flight. By midday, the Persian army was no longer fighting. It was breaking. History often explains Plataea as a victory of freedom over tyranny, or heavy infantry over light troops. But that's not the real reason Persia lost. The Persian Empire did not fall here because it lacked strength. It fell because its system demanded certainty. One wrong assumption, one misread movement, and the entire invasion collapsed in a single morning. Mardonius acted decisively, exactly as the Persian system rewarded. But decisiveness without accurate information is not strength. It's vulnerability. Plataea ended Persia's final campaign in Greece. It preserved the independence of the Greek world. It ensured that Athens and Sparta would shape their own future, for better and for worse. And it revealed a truth history repeats again and again. Empires don't always fall because they are outmatched. Sometimes they fall because they misjudge the moment and move too fast, when patience was the real weapon. If you want more stories like this, the battles that decided empires and the people history nearly erased, subscribe and tell me which era you want to march into next. I'll see you in the next campaign.